Alright, boys and girls, ladies and germs, we got some problematic Jasper to try and biface. Yeah, I was just reviewing the last videos and I said I was going to do this. I said I was going to do a lot of stuff. Yep, eventually I'll get to it. It's got cortex, so it's going to be a little difficult sometimes. But this type of Jasper naps well in the raw state. This is not heat treated. Somebody asked me, how did I learn to heat treat? And I think I forgot to respond. I pretty much learned on my own in the beginning, and then I started researching it more. And learned a lot more after I did some research. And I was heating my original stuff way too hot. When I first started, it was way too hot because I didn't have a thermometer or a temperature gauge stuck in the side of my turkey roaster. Why is that important? It's important because the insulation in the lid actually helps the temperature to stay in, so it's actually higher than what the gauge indicates. And I didn't figure that out until very recently, which is a bummer, because I think I told people some lower range heats. You know, the old way, when I thought it was just straight dial readings, I would tell people turn the turkey roaster to 350 with the insulated lid, and I didn't have the temperature gauge stuck in there, and most of the stuff worked, right? Because it only goes up maybe 150 degrees higher than the gauge says at max, I think. So it still would heat treat, but I was thinking about that. That's one detail that I messed up on. So yeah, I'm self-taught. When you're self-taught, you make mistakes like that as far as heat treat goes. Yeah. But hopefully a lot of those guys had temperature gauges in their turkey roasters, so it might not have worked for them, but at least they were lower in heat than I was. You know, at least my advice didn't ruin their stone. It just didn't cook it hot enough, probably, because I was getting good results when the temperatures were 100 degrees hotter than what I said. Yeah. Anyway. This one had a crack in it, so it lost a lot of width. And I had to hit this really, really hard to get these flakes to come off because it's getting really small. I probably should be doing this with indirect percussion. Yeah, I'll stop here. But it naps very well. Excellent stuff. All right, this one, we'll see. Anyway, I got temperature gauges all over the place now, and I'm going to buy another turkey roaster, brand new one, and install the brand new gauges. I got two of these that they go up to 800, so I'm going to install those in the new turkey roaster. I'll take the new turkey roaster apart first, to see where the heating element is, so I don't hit the heating element when I insert those temperature gauges. Because the heating elements are up on the side. I thought the heating elements would be at the bottom, but they're not. They're up on the sides around the whole thing inside. So, you know, when I drill holes to put those temperature gauges in the sides, I gotta make sure I don't hit the heating elements. Now, I could put the temperature gauges in the lid, but I don't know if it'll reach. There's insulation in there. If it reaches far enough in to get a good reading from the lid, I could stick these in the lid. Right? So we'll see what happens. I think this will cinch down on the lid. The lid's metal is very thin, but the sides of the turkey roaster are about 1 inch thick or more, 1.5 inches thick. So, you know, this little arrangement will work pretty good. But we'll see. I'm gonna try. Maybe I'll just try both methods. Put the gauges in the lid, or drill holes in the lid and drill holes in the side, and see which one works better. Because maybe putting the temperature gauges in the sides will make the temperature gauges too hot, and it will not reflect an accurate temperature from the inside where the stones are. Yeah, unless the stones are right up against the sides, and then I guess it'll make a difference. We'll see. I'll probably end up putting 4 different temperature gauges on one roaster. In the sides and in the lids. Yeah. That's, now that I think about it, probably that's what I'll do. The more temperature gauges, the better. That way we know the temperature in all areas of the roaster. Turkey roaster. Now what about open fires? Heat treating on open fire. That, I've got a temperature reading gun that you point the gun at the object and hit the trigger and it'll show you the reading. It works by infrared or something. So I can do that with the open fire heat treat to be a little more scientific about it than just using the same heat that I use to cook meat with. Because I can stick some meat around where the stones are, and if the meat's cooking and not burning, then it's at the right temperature. Even though I might not know the exact temperature. I should be able to reach 400 pretty easily with an open fire that's not too big. In a place that's not windy. I gotta make sure I do it in a place that's not windy. So I gotta build either a barrier around the fire so the wind doesn't blow, or figure out something, or just do it on non-windy days, which is not difficult here. It's either extremely windy or extremely calm here, and it's usually extremely windy on cold days and extremely calm on hot days. So you're freezing your butt off in the cold weather and roasting your butt off in the hot weather. That's a desert. That's what it does. Should be the other way around. A breeze on hot days and no breeze on cold days. But it's just the opposite around here anyway. Usually. Or it's just my luck. Yeah. It's not working right around me because of the poly effect. The weather has a poly effect when I'm around, right? Right. What's the poly effect? You missed the previous videos? You didn't see it? Oh well, you're missing out a lot if you don't watch them. You're missing a lot. Everybody's already ahead of you. You gotta catch up. These are my new abraders from Harbor Freight. Yep. I use the edge here because it's a little more rough. Can you see? Stupid camera. You can see, right? It's more rough, so that's why I use this edge. because I like to knock flakes off at the same time I'm abrading. Because when you knock flakes off, it takes more off the edge and makes it stronger than if you were just to do this. This takes forever with the smooth side. The braiders get better after you've used them for a while. That was a hard hit. Let's see if it did it. Yeah. These are hard hits at this stage. A lot of you guys are not able to get these thinning flakes because you don't hit hard enough at this stage. But some of you guys, when I say hit hard, you go from level 2, hit level 2 to level 10. No. If you're hitting at level 2, just double it to level 4. Okay? That kind of thing. I see some guys that, you know, they'll tap and they'll take off little taps. I say hit harder, and they go wham at level 10 when they're at level 2. No. Just take it easy. Just double it a little bit, you know. Take it a little bit at a time. If it still doesn't work, then you can ramp it up. Sometimes it takes level 10 to get these flakes to come off, but you've got to kind of ease into it. Yeah. Unless you got a lot of rock that you don't mind blasting through, then it's okay. Go for broke, man. Hit it. It's more fun that way. You get to learn the limits faster, I think. Yeah, the faster you can learn the limits of the stone, the better off you will be. Alright, this is destined for indirect percussion. This one's destined for indirect percussion, or set up for it. It's all destined for indirect. Alright, let's try this one. What do we do on this one? Gnarly nodule, but good inside type stuff. Well, I'm not going to go for a biface on this one. I'm just going to hit flakes off in one direction. Nice platform. Nice striking area, I should say. Oops, that one crunched. That one crunched too a little bit, but I got something. There's a natural crack in that one. Yeah. That's what they call a seam, but I like to say natural crack. Yeah. Why? Because I like to use the word crack. Yeah. Sue me. It's funny. Yeah. You can even play a drinking game with flintnappers. When they say a certain word that could be construed sexually, take a drink. Oh, you will be drunk very quick. Oh yeah. You didn't know that? You didn't know you could play that game with nappers? Man, you're missing out. I'm going to give you FOMO. Yeah. I'm going to make you afraid of missing out stuff. First you missed out on the poly effect. Now you're going to miss out on the Flintnappers drinking game. Damn. What else are you missing out on? I'm not telling. Yeah. I got all giggly earlier because we started a little family messaging type situation where we can all share jokes and everyone sees everyone else's jokes. I don't know who set it up. One of my daughters set it up so that now everyone gets everyone else's messages on that particular message board or whatever. My kids are pretty funny. They are pretty funny. I don't know where to get it. I'm just silly. I don't remember jokes. Yeah, other people can remember jokes. I don't remember jokes. I just try to be silly. Yeah, I just got a message from one of them right now. They're still looking at silly stuff from like a week ago. Well, it's not that long ago. They're still responding to posts that are like 3 days old. That's funny. Busy, busy. They are busy. So what am I going to do with this? Actually, I am going to try for a triangular biface. Or should I? Or should I just continue to knock off flakes? I'm not having much of a success knocking off really, really nice long flakes. Yeah, because it's kind of small. This core is kind of small for that sort of thing. Yeah, if I hit really hard, I end up overshooting, and those flakes are not that great. Those overshot flakes. Why? Because they're curved. They're curved. They're not straight and flat. So I'm gonna try for a triangular biface. It's nice material, but look at that. Look at that crack. Dang it. You never know. This is very dicey stuff. And it's got cracks in it. Look at that. What is that? It messes up your whole arrowhead. Right there. Right in the middle. There's no way to see that from the outside at all. Nope. Okay, I can make arrowheads out of these things. Maybe I should. Maybe that's the next video. Try to make a little arrowhead out of these, but it's going to be really, really tiny. And I should continue this with indirect percussion because the whole thing could snap in half. Yeah. Yep. There we go. I just wanted to see if that was clear. It's clear. It looks like that'll end up being pretty good if I can get that out. It doesn't look like it goes all the way through. It doesn't look like it. So happy with that. Now let's try this. This one's going to be tough, I think, because it's coarse. It's not smooth and glossy like the other ones, or waxy. It's not. These are not glassy. They're kind of waxy though. They feel kind of waxy. Let's get some cortex off of there so we can see what we got. Just kind of randomly remove some. Am I maximizing it? No, I'm not maximizing it. Why am I not maximizing it? Because you never know. I mean, I could say that I am. You'd never know if I'm maximizing it or not. But I'm being honest with you. I'm not trying to maximize it. I'm just seeing if I can get a biface. I'm not looking at the flakes. I kind of am looking at flakes, but not for the reason that you might think. That's all the flakes, right? Almost all of them. I didn't weigh these. Oops, sorry. I didn't weigh these to start with. I'm looking at how much is actually going to go to waste. I can save a bunch of these. Yeah. Depends on what size arrowheads I want to make. These are really tiny. Anything smaller than my thumbnail is really, really tiny. Right? Or more narrow than my thumbnail. Yeah. This is about the smallest I will use. I don't know what for. Unless I want to do a reproduction of one of those Southwest arrows. You know, one of those ancestral Puebloan arrows that have really teeny, tiny arrowheads. I can make arrowheads out of this stuff. Anyway. So I would say maybe at least 50% of this is not going to be usable. Because it has too much cortex. And some of it's got a crack right down the middle. I'll still save it, but most likely I won't be able to get anything out of it. So just because I'm saving it doesn't mean it's part of the yield. It just means that I'm just hoping. Yeah. See, just a little bit. Besides the, you know, these things. These are what's good about it. All right, and are you going to be able to get those as a new napper in 2 weeks of napping? You're going to be able to get these? No, you're not going to be able to. That's why slabs exist. Slabs. If you don't know what slabs are, you are really new. And you better not be asking any maximizing questions. Because there's no way. If you're that new, you don't know what slabs are. Unless you've been napping without the internet for a few years or something. There's some guys out there that never watch YouTube videos and they're napping because they had a personal instructor. But they never heard of slabs because their instructor doesn't like them. A slab is when you cut slabs of stone out of these with a lapidary saw. Lapidary. And you can get a lot of yield. You can maximize it with the saw. Talking about maximization. Yeah. It's actually a good strategy to maximize it with a saw by sawing the slabs. The problem is a lot of slabs contain the defects in the stone, and if you slab in a certain way, every piece is going to have a defect. If that defect runs this way and you slab through it this way, that defect is going to be in every slab. But if you slab it the other way so that the defect is only on one layer and the slabs on this side don't have it and the slabs on this side don't have it, then you're in good shape. But the guy slabbing the stone doesn't know that. So he thinks he could be maximizing it by slicing in a certain direction, and he's including a defect through every slab. So it's hard either way. Maximizing it is hard. It's like one of the hardest things in Flintnapping. Other than thinning and avoiding step fractures. Maximizing it is something that new guys can't do. I think I beat that horse to death. Okay. Can you get good at maximizing? Oh yes, you can get good at it. But you won't know until you've actually worked bunches and bunches of these nodules. I tend to automatically, you know, go for the worst first. In most cases, I check each and every area first, then I go for the worst. Yeah. When I'm breaking into a new nodule, I check it first and then attack the worst. Check it first, then attack the worst. See, this stuff right here, I don't need to attack that yet. That's good stuff, but I want to see if I can blow away more of this cortex. Then I'll come back to the square edge. Unless that square edge, by removing it, will give me an advantageous position to remove that cortex there. And it's cortex with a C, not G. It's not Gore-Tex like the waterproof material. It's cortex with a C. Or they also call it a rind. R-I-N-D, like an orange rind on the outside of an orange. The peel. You peel off the peel of the stone, but they call it a cortex. And some archaeologists get all fancy and they go, the flakes that have cortex are called cortical flakes because they want to be all fancy about it. Yeah. And they actually keep track of the percentage of cortical flakes within an assemblage. It's another fancy word for a bunch of artifacts. Yeah. The assemblage is the bunch of artifacts all together. Well, when it's all together in one big lump, they call it the aggregate. Yeah. The aggregate contains the assemblage. Within the assemblage, you'll have different divisions of tools. Within those divisions of tools, you'll have specific finished ones and then unfinished or crude. And then within those, you'll have reworked, retouched. It goes on and on. It's all categorized. If you've never read an archaeological text, you won't know what I'm talking about. I just started talking Greek. And you're like, wait a second, I don't know any of this. You know what? You don't have to know any of it to be good at Flintnapping. Nope. The only reason why I know is because I thought I needed to know that stuff. Maybe they were having some information I needed. I had FOMO. Thought I was going to miss out if I didn't look at the archaeological texts. Turns out I didn't need any of it for learning how to flintnap, except certain techniques. There are certain techniques that are categorized, like the Levallois technique, otherwise known as the La technique, Levallois, or the Levawa, as the Brits pronounce it. I don't know how Americans usually pronounce it because no one uses that term that I'm in regular contact with. They probably say Levallois. It's let's see. Let me see if I can spell it. Levallois. Levallois. Easy. Right? I hope I spelled that right. Pardon my French. Yeah. Usually you say pardon my French when you're saying a swear word. Yeah. Levallois might be a swear word. You never know. If you're new. Am I picking on the new guys? I think it's fun to pick on the new guys, yeah. So yes. The answer to that is yes. I'm picking on the new guys. They're so demanding. Yeah. Why are you guys so demanding? They want to know where all the rocks are. And the good rocks, not just the rocks, the good rocks. Where do you find them for free? Yeah. And if you're not telling us, so they think, we're being greedy by not telling. Thing is, if I tell you and you're new, chances are you'll load up on a bunch of it and never nap it. Yeah, we've seen it over and over again. I tell the new guys where all the rocks are. They go grab a bunch of it, and they find out, I don't have time for this. They don't put the rocks back. They go, some of it's kind of cool. I'm going to keep it in my landscape. And never gets napped. So I'm not telling you. It's not greedy. It's so that other people can enjoy it. Yeah. It's just rocks, I know, but it's getting increasingly harder to find these on the surface. Now we can start mining these, and that's where it's going. Rocks are going to be mined. These are Flintnapping rocks. Some varieties already are mined, which means you have to dig in to the ground pretty deep. Flint Ridge comes to mind. That stuff is now mined. Comes to mind that they are mined. Yeah. So it's going to be that way for a lot of stones soon. Oops. Ooh, this one's too delicate. I'm not wearing my gaiters today, the wraparounds, because I normally want to use those for obsidian. I'm not too worried about these flakes. They don't produce long, nasty shards. The longest, nastiest shard would be like this. But if you compare this to obsidian, the obsidian ones are, I mean, they are like actual real pins and needles. This is thick by comparison. So I like the fact that I've got gaiters now that wrap around, prevent the flakes from going in my shoe. I'm doing a video.
Mom's phone's about to die. She needs help or whatever.
Hmm?
The mom's phone's about to die. She needs help or whatever.
Doing? Okay, hold on.
It's an emergency.
Okay, where was I? I had to go jumpstart the car. Alright, I think I was right here. Let me turn off the heater. Yeah, I have the heater going too. Yeah, just now I turned on the heater when I came back into the shop because it cooled off drastically in the past hour or so. Alright. I don't know what I was talking about, but this is the last one. Yeah. I got 4 potential bifaces, and this is the 5th one. Let's see if I can get through this one. I've done a video similar to this called Knapping Gnarly Nodules, where I use a lot of indirect percussion. But I've replaced a lot of my indirect percussion with direct billet percussion. And then once I reach a limit with the billet, I switch over to indirect percussion. Which is kind of risky, but you know, you're not able to grow unless you take some risks. Yeah. I gotta learn to do this with the billet. Well, I don't have to, I just want to. Increase my range of activities. And maybe the range of points that I can make. There's a crack right there, which is pretty typical. Of dicey material. See if I can get under it. Gotta be careful where I hit. I want to take some mass off the tip just as a matter of policy, of procedure, standard operating procedure, as they call it in the military. Take weight off the ends. That way you're not dealing with too much bending stress. If you got real heavy ends, it bends the middle a lot, or it puts stress on the middle when you're hitting the thing. When you're hitting your workpiece, it naps and chips really easy. It does go deeply in there. Dang it. That reduces the width quite a bit. Nothing you can do except lose the width when there's a crack in it. It doesn't go much further than that, so we may still be in good shape for a nice little biface. Now I'm having trouble with my phone not being able to store videos anymore, and hopefully I'll be able to render the two pieces together. Usually I film everything in one shot, but since I had an interruption, I gotta render these two together. So what happens is the rendering software that I've got will overload the memory and I won't be able to do it. Hopefully I don't have to upload this in two separate sections. Yeah, part 1 and part 2. Hopefully I don't. Hopefully I can join them together. If I don't take forever to get this straightened out. Did I get under that crack? I think maybe I did. Did I drive a flake deep enough there? I think I see the end of that crack. Although it goes, I don't know what that is there. Another crack? Let's see. Let's be a little more precise and see what's going on here. What in the wide, wide world of flintnapping we got going on here? Let's take care of some other stuff first. Thin down the tip. Standard operating procedure. Let's thin down the base a little bit. Hopefully we won't pop the tip off. That's good. Hit directly on the step fracture to remove some of that cortex. If you didn't know you could do that, now you know. It's one of the tricks. All right, here we go. Hard hit. Did it do it? It kind of did. Kind of did it. Gave me a good indication of what we're dealing with. All right. Quite yet though. Ouch, we got a lot of stuff going on in there. Dang it. Problematic. Yep. Is it still good for something? Yeah, if I can get past all this. This crack appears to be weird, so let's unweird it, unweirdify it. can't have them cracks while you're tapping on other areas, because that can open up and take the tip off. Just by hitting it other places, it'll vibrate the tip here and it'll take off the tip at that crack. Yeah. Oh yeah, and vibrate's one of them drinking game words. Yeah. You missed the first part. What's a drinking game? You missed it. Flintnapper's drinking game. Whenever I say something that could be taken in a sexual manner, you gotta take a drink. I'm not saying what you drink, just take a drink. Yeah. Oh my goodness, we got some issues with this one. This one's got issues. We're gonna need some tissues because this one got some issues. Get your tissues out because you never know. You might need them. What are the tissues for, you might ask? You know, when you start crying and when I break it. Yeah. It's nice up on this side, so I don't want to mess up that side. Let's see. I do want to skim off some of that cortex while I still have a chance when it's still kind of thick. It flakes better when it's still a little thick, because then I'm not trying to thin down a thin piece. Beauty. I like it. It's got an issue right there too. Look at that. It's got issues everywhere. Yep. I mean, you can already use your tissues for these issues. They're pretty bad. Unless I keep it thick, it's gonna be very dicey to thin this down. Yeah, this one needs to be kept thick, I think. No sense in making it more risky than we need to by thinning it too much. I could tell it's the stone that does that, because you know, it's all weird, really weird. It's the defects in the stone. New guys, you won't be able to tell if that's you or the stone. You're going to be napping and you're going to get these weird areas. And you're going to go, wow, I'm the terrible napper. Look what I did. Look, everyone come over here. Look what I did. Have you ever seen anyone this terrible? Everyone says, no, I've never seen that. You sure it's not the stone? Well, I'm sure, because it's got to be me. I started 5 days ago. And it's not, sometimes it's not you. Yep, sometimes it's not you. I mean, I gotta admit, most of the time it is you, but sometimes it's not you, so take a small consolation that sometimes it isn't. All right. Okay, here we go. What are we gonna do? We're gonna regularize it. Why? I don't know, because I really don't know where to attack it yet. So when you don't know what to do, you just regularize it, and then maybe something will pop into your head. If you're like me, stuff will just pop into my head. Say, wait a second, maybe I should try this. Or maybe I'm confident enough to try this. Yeah. Dang it. I was confident enough to try that. Probably a little overconfident. That's not a bad thing. I mean, I got a lump right here. If I just get rid of that lump, I get rid of that step fracture. So it's not a big deal. I just would rather have it feather out. It looks like it's a diving type of chert. It's not snap and half chert. It's diving chert. Is there such a thing? Oh yeah. Some chert is more prone to diving flakes than other cherts. All right, let's see what we got. Did we have a diving flake there? I don't know. I can't see. Where was it? I don't know. Can you see? I can't see where it was. Yeah. It's magic. Strip fractures disappear by magic. Or hinges. That was a hinge, actually. A step fracture is an incomplete termination. The hinge is just when it pops out at a very steep angle. Yeah, it's not incomplete. It actually completed, but it popped out at a bad angle. It didn't feather out. All right, so we got that other side pretty well flat. Now we can start flattening the bad side. Good side has most of the contour that it needs, except for a little bit at the tip. Of course, gonna make it a little difficult for me. Just remember, most of these stones, they don't want to be points. Nope. They don't want to. They don't like long flakes either. They put up a fuss. They don't like long flakes. Ugh. And that's supposed to be the good side. There, I found a piece. Why did it do that? Or is this some crackiola pudding going on? It looks like there might have been there. Crackiola pudding right there. I don't see, well, let's see. There's some discoloration in here. If there's discoloration, it might be a natural crack. See how it's redder right there? That might be an indication. Yeah, that's a natural crack. So it was this side up here. It wasn't this down here. It was the crack right there. Natural crack. All right. You get to use your tissues a little bit. I'm going to mourn the loss of the width. Yeah, I'm not going to take it down all the way yet. But that gives me a chance to hit into this area more easily once I get that edge set up. Grind it. Grind it, yeah. Let's see what happens when I'm going to attack it here in a minute. I got to thin the tip down just a little bit more. Why am I taking my time with this one? Because it was the worst as far as the initial conditions. The worst piece of rock so far because it had a lot of internal issues, bad issues. Here, let's see if that did it. Did it get rid of everything in one fell swoop? Ooh, almost. Dang it, look at that. It doesn't want me to become successful at that. Nope. It's a natural crack. Yep. It's not even heat treated. If I had heat treated this before I started, I think that would have been even worse. It would have been maybe easier to nap, but it would have probably already been in 2 pieces by now. Yeah, it's got issues all over the place. See that? So I'll just leave it at this, and then I'll try to get those 2 pieces put together, and hopefully I can get everything uploaded at one time. Yep. Another issue with my phone is I'm not able to restart it. I used to be able to push the side button for like 30 seconds, and it would you know, give me an option to restart or shut down. It's not giving me the option anymore. I don't know if that has something to do with it. I got too much memory in my system file. It might still make a nice projectile point or arrowhead. Yeah, it has to be really, really thin though. Yeah, and with this many issues, it's going to be dicey. Anyway, all right, so I managed to get 5 out of 5. Some of them are high quality, some are not. Like this one looks like I can get a good piece out of it, as long as I don't run into pockets of nastiness. I don't see too many pockets of nastiness, although there is some. I could heat treat this; it'll make it a little bit better. This one looks like it's high quality stuff, but it's really thick. But I can get a long, narrow one out of it. This one looks like one of the best ones so far, as long as it doesn't dive too much. If it's not dive type Jasper. And this one, this is going to be tough because it's really gritty. I could probably heat treat this one also, but I don't know. Yeah, this one probably needs heat treat to make it thin. I can make a thick point out of it pretty easy. And this one here, it's beautiful stuff on this side, but this side's got a lot of issues. I can still get a point out of it though. All right, that's it.